Thanks, Sammy. Got a few things. We actually have quite a bit of business today, but we'll go through it fairly quickly. Leadership points. We sent a few emails about this, so get it done. Okay, because of how popular Supper Santa was, we're working with Rex and Retta, so sign up on the Google Sheet, and it's a really cool thing to brighten some kids' Christmases. And then we're also offering another service opportunity for a canned food drive. That information is also on the blog. Okay, Rocky Mountain Conference is coming April. We need to start getting an idea of who's all coming. So, is that Jolene they talked to about that? Sign up in the office.
Eventually, we'll have to be posted. They need to know by probably January.
Okay. Everyone hear that? We need to know by January 9th. All right. We got our fall closing social. And so I'm just going to go here. So if you're in the 200 seminar, type in that link and take this survey, and we'll take the time right now to go ahead and do this. We want to know if you're coming, and if so, what kind of food, so that we can, tailor this to what you want. Yeah, 5 to 6:30 next Thursday. So we'll just give you a little bit more time to take this survey. Yeah, case sensitive. Okay, I've stopped seeing heads go up and down, so I'll move on. A couple more. Are we good? Any objections? Okay. All right. I think this is the last. Nope, not the last one. Officer elections. We've had some nominations. We need to know if you've been nominated, if you're actually going to run by tomorrow. We can prepare the schedule for next seminar. So let us know, by tomorrow. You can also still nominate yourself and let us know if you plan to run tomorrow, or nominate your friends, but tomorrow is the deadline. EERI Club. They have a meeting today in the soils lab at 5 p.m. Okay. And thanks everyone who participated with Habitat for Humanity. That went really well. So thank you. Okay. Today we're pleased to hear from Lieutenant Drew DeCary with the Civil Engineer Corps for the U.S. Navy. He's originally from Bakersfield, California. In 2005, he graduated from Cal Poly San Luis Obispo with his EIT and had internships at city government and small engineering firms with one summer research fellowship at Notre Dame. From 2006 to 2009, he worked as a structural engineer for city government. And in 2009, he passed the California PE exam on the first attempt, which is the most difficult PE, isn't it?
That's what I heard.
Oh. I have heard that as well. And in 2010, he commissioned as an ensign in the U.S. Navy Civil Engineer Corps. So let's welcome Lieutenant DeCary.
Thank you very much for having me.
Here. Gotcha.
And then the clicker here. Okay. All right. thank you once again. My name is Drew DeCary. If you have any questions during my presentation, just raise your hand. Call out Drew, Lieutenant, LT, get my attention somehow. We'll get those questions answered. We're going to start off with some introductions. Today I got some great people here with me. First off, Chief Echeverry, you want to introduce yourself?
My name is George Echeverry. I've been in the Navy for going on 18 years. I'm enlisted E7, machinist mate. So I work on the nuclear plants on board aircraft carrier. Okay, I am a local officer recruiter. So right now they've got me promoting our nuclear propulsion program and our civil engineering program. So if you decided this was something you wanted to look into, you would contact me directly and I will help you with the application process.
And he's got information up here, so if you're interested after the meeting, you can grab it. Also have a very special BYU alum here, Chris Hogan. Chris, you want to stand up and introduce yourself and introduce your guest too?
Yeah, sure. Hi, Chris Hogan. My mother, Florence. She came down. Right now I'm stationed in Coronado, San Diego. BYU grad in 08. So I've been in the Navy about 9 years. This is how I found out about the Civil Engineer Corps, and it's been a really good gig for me and the family. So me and Drew were working together, and I started putting the plug in to come to BYU. So we listened up, and here we are.
And yeah, he didn't have to try too hard because I've got some special guests here. I've got family that live in Ogden and Eden. My grandmother's here, Evelyn. So afterwards, you guys can say hello to Grandma Evelyn. And my wonderful Aunt Kay is also here. And you can say hello to my wonderful Aunt Kay as well. So introductions complete. So today's Thursday, December 7th. Oh, first off, are there any veterans in the crowd? Yes, thank you for your service. Back to so December 7th, important date in naval history. Does anybody know the significance of December 7th? Thank you. Makes my heart feel good that you know about that. Yes, Pearl Harbor, December 7th, 1941. So when I was asked, when we were working the dates to come here, and Byron offered December 7th as a date to give this presentation, I said, I gotta go December 7th. This is a historical day for the Navy. So we're going to start off with some professional development, and then I'll get into my formal presentation. So, first thing, civil engineer, what is that third word? Is there a brave soul here that wants to answer this question? Corps. Thank you very much. I've been presented as being a lieutenant in the Civil Engineer Corps. And my response to that is, do I look like a dead zombie to you? I'm not a corpse, I'm in the Corps. So you got that right. There's some other corps out there as well. Moving on. So second bit of professional development. Get involved in school early and often. You heard the presentation about going to conference. How many people are going to go to conference? Show of hands here. Get involved early, get involved often. Conference is a great time, chance to get to know your classmates better, and then also get a chance to know students at other schools that are going to be your colleagues once you graduate. Next bit of professional development. In your classes, your goal should be to learn the material, not just to pass the class. I fell victim to the latter. I was just worried about passing that class. I was on a parental scholarship, and I was in a hurry to graduate because the sooner I graduated, the less my parents had to support me in that. But with that, it was just all about getting to the exam, regurgitating the material, getting into the next class to get that diploma. So my advice to you is take time out to actually learn the material. So the next bit of advice is get a professional email and use it on your resume. So this piece of advice, you're at BYU, I'm sure you have a BYU school email address, but that is only going to last you for so long. You're going to graduate, you're going to move on to bigger and better things. And so my advice to you is get a Gmail, get a Yahoo email that is professional. Do people know what I mean when I say professional? Any guesses? First name, not last name. What would be an example of an unprofessional email? What's that? Hot Daddy, yeah. You don't want to go with hotdaddy@gmail.com. What's another good one? Don't go with Grease Monkey. Don't go with Grease Monkey at gmail.com. So have a professional looking email address, put it on your resume, start using that now, and it'll pay off dividends in the future. Use a signature block in your emails and include your email address. So sometimes when you send people emails get forwarded, 2 or 3 people down the chain want to get a hold of you, and all they have is your first and last name, not your email address. So that's why I say use your email address in your signature block. It's kind of a pet peeve of mine, and then again, that is something that is going to help you in the long run. So next thing, take advantage of these. So at BYU, are there like super all-star seniors that are at BYU? Yes, and they're in the background, kind of, maybe. So I won't call you out because you're kind of like, yeah, it might be a super all-star senior. But yeah, where I went to school, it was very common to take 5 years to graduate, and some special people took even longer than that. But, so, at the end of your time at BYU, you're going to be given this piece of paper. It's a diploma, Bachelor of Science, Civil Engineering. And you look to your left, you look to your right, everybody's going to get that same piece of paper. What's going to differentiate yourself from that person sitting next to you? What have you done in these 4, 5, 6 years that you're in school that separates you? It says, hey, company XYZ, hire me because I've done all these amazing things while I was at BYU working on my civil engineering degree. So that's the professional development time. Any questions before we get into the formal presentation? All right. Am I putting anybody to sleep? I heard that. All right, so let's have a little joke here. Okay, so how do you tell an introverted engineer from an extroverted engineer? And if you guys don't know this one, I don't know what's going on here at BYU engineering. You guys don't have engineering humor out or something like that.
One looks at his feet, the other looks at your feet.
That's right. Introverted engineer stares at their shoes while the extroverted engineer stares at your shoes. Okay, so again, I'll reintroduce myself. From Bakersfield, California. Graduated from high school in 2000. Went to the mighty California Polytechnic State University at San Luis Obispo, where, during my time there, BYU won 2 Robert Ridgway Awards back-to-back. It really upset me because I wanted to win those. Then as soon as I graduated, then Cal Poly won back-to-back. And then last year they won it again. Then, how many people have passed the EIT already? Yes, excellent, very important. Take that as soon as you can. That's another little bit of professional advice, professional recommendation. Knock that out while you are in school. I've seen statistics about the probability when you're 2 years out from school passing that EIT, it drops 50% and it just goes down further and further. And also look out for your classmates that are in mechanical, electrical, the other engineering disciplines, because they're probably not getting that encouragement to take that EIT. And again, help them. Encourage them to take that EIT. Post-graduation, after graduating from Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, I went back to my homeland of Bakersfield, California, and went to work for a small structures firm for 6 months, then went to work for a city government for a year, worked in their capital improvement projects, worked on sewer projects, worked on transportation projects, wide variety of projects, and then went back to structural engineering and went to work in a little town of Morro Bay, just north of San Luis Obispo. and worked there until I passed my, my PE exam. So, sort of came to a fork in the road in my life. I projected out 20 years, and what's my life going to be like if I stay just doing straight structural engineering? And it was a lot of time sitting behind a computer, not getting out, not getting a chance to interact with people. And I had thought often about joining the military, and I said, like, this is the time in my life when I need to do this. And so, joined the military, Navy Civil Engineer Corps, best decision I ever made. It's been an exciting ride, and I'll talk about that more a little bit later. So prior to joining the military, this was my life, these two starts here. I grew up in Bakersfield, the Central Valley of California, went to school over in San Luis Obispo, had that one summer research fellowship at Notre Dame, and then went back to Bakersfield, Morro Bay, Central Coast. So big world, and only two major events here. Then joined the Navy. So started off officer candidate school, Newport, Rhode Island. I was there for 13 weeks, or sorry, 12 weeks, and then went to Civil Engineer Corps Officer School, Fort Hueneme. After that, went to my first duty station, Marine Corps Air Station, Cherry Point, North Carolina. Anybody from North Carolina in the audience? You know about Cherry Point? Yeah, it's a beautiful part of the country out on the coast, near the Outer Banks. A lot of people go to vacation there. Great location. When I was there, I had got to travel to South Carolina and Florida, short duration trips, just for some training. After that, so I was 2 years in Cherry Point, then went to Naval Mobile Construction Battalion 11 in Gulfport, Mississippi. While I was there, I deployed to Djibouti, Africa, did 6 months there, had a quick assignment in Ethiopia, and then also went temporary duty to Bahrain for almost 3 months. After that, next duty assignment was Logistics Support Unit 1 in Coronado, California, just part of Naval Special Warfare, supporting the SEALs. While I was there, we had exercises in Nevada, deployed to Iraq for 6 months, had to visit West Virginia and Virginia, been to South Korea, been to Guam, and then back to Mississippi as well. My current assignment, I'm called the Sessions Officer, was the Sessions Officer. I interview potential candidates for the Civil Engineer Corps. I cover the entire western U.S. and also get to give presentations like this. So, since joining the Navy, this has now become my world. And I'm only 7 years in, and see a lot more locations that I have traveled to. So, just a little review. 2 stars on the map, many stars on the map. So, again, I think that joining the Navy, best decision I ever made. So the Civil Engineer Corps, we are made up of engineers and architects. Don't let the name fool you just because it says Civil Engineer Corps. We also have mechanical engineers, electrical engineers, and those free-thinking individuals known as architects. So, we're going to talk a little bit about who we are, what we do, who we support, benefits of the Navy, collegiate opportunities, the accessions process, and even the civilian and reserve jobs. So who we are first and foremost naval officers. We're engineering professionals, and we are also business professionals. So the naval officer, that speaks to our tactical professionals and leaders of troops, leaders in the Navy. Engineering professionals, so being made up of engineers and architects. If you want to join the club, you got to be able to get your professional engineering license or become a registered architect. Business professionals, so part of our training and what we do is contracting, and that is in accordance with the Federal Acquisition Regulations, the FAR. And So with that, we also have to do these, some business education classes, training, etc. Any questions thus far? Yes,
So I know, are you married? I noticed the ring.
I am married.
So how far in your career did you get married, and how did it affect family life traveling around so much?
Well, it was about 3 months ago, and I haven't had to do much traveling as far as the Navy goes. I take these short trips. So ask me in a couple of years and I'll be able to answer that better. But I think there's somebody in the audience that might be able to answer that question better. Chris Hogan, please step up. And let's.
So I was married here, I've been married 11 years now, 3 kids. Married here, and then we joined the Navy, so they were already married a couple years before I joined. They come along with me on all the fun adventures, so we lived in Hawaii for 3 years, fantastic. They went to the Middle East with me, lived in Bahrain for 2 years, they really enjoyed that. My youngest son was actually born in the Middle East. It's been great, man, like family life for what we do, and Drew will talk about the different locations you have is kind of more like a shore duty, so you're not in and out as much. You're kind of in a seat doing a job. So family life is great. I know when the 4-year mark came around and we're thinking about getting out, we weren't really sure what we wanted to do yet, and, we weren't quite grown up. So it was my wife who said, I want to stay in and I want to keep doing the Navy, so keep doing what you're doing, what you're doing.
It's a good life, yes.
In your opinion, what's the difference between the Navy Civil Corps, the Army Civil Corps, and the Marine Civil Corps?
Okay. You want to? Did everybody in the back hear that? Yes, no? Okay, I'll repeat it. So the question is, what was it, in my opinion, what's the difference between the Navy Civil Engineer Corps, the Army Corps of Engineers, and Marine Engineering, Marine Corps Engineering? Okay, so Navy Civil Engineer Corps, obviously we've got this right here, so that explains that. Army Corps of Engineers. Basically, it's a civilian organization for the most part. Very, very little military sprinkled through. Their charge is, they're responsible for all navigable waterways in the U.S. I think they also deal with wetlands. Prior to joining the Navy, I had a project where there was some wetland stuff and we had to go through the Army Corps. So, civilian organization for the most part. And then Marines, Engineering, Marine Corps, they're a expeditionary, they are there for expeditionary warfare. And so their engineering is very, it's got a short lifespan to it. And it's 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. Get in there, get the job done, set up camp, take care of business, move on. Chris, do you want to, is there anything to add about that?
Yeah, like you have licensed GEs and RAs, so in a military officer in the Army, it doesn't have that requirement. They have a lot of history graduates who are running large construction projects. And that's just who they are. They're a big organization and they don't have those requirements. Marine Corps, they still blow stuff up. But that PERA, that's really unique to our community.
And the other thing, engineering has such a wide range of definitions in civil life, let alone the military. Talking about if you're talking Army engineering, blow something up. Talking Marine engineering, could be mobility, counter mobility. If you're on a ship, engineering, that makes the boat, the sub go. And then you've got us, the Civil Engineer Corps. Different animal. We'll talk more about that here. So we've got, in the Civil Engineer Corps, like Chris was talking about, you've got sea duty, you've got shore duty. So shore duty, NAVFAC, Navy Facilities Command, that's kind of your normal 9-to-5 type work where you're doing public works, you're doing construction management, doing some contracting, on base, going home every night for the most part, and it's much like a civilian career. Then you have your sea duty, your expeditionary time, Naval Mobile Construction Battalion. That's where you're deploying, you're going out, you're doing great things. Navy had an ad campaign a while back about being a global force for good. I think Seabees truly are a global force for good, and I'll talk about that more later. So there's some details about NAVFAC and Naval Mobile Construction Battalion. CEC, the one thing that I will speak to here, CEC, Civil Engineer Corps, we're a very small community. It's only about 1,300 officers worldwide. So you get to know people in the community, build some camaraderie. It's a nice thing. Whereas Army is huge. We're a little bit smaller. What we do, facilities management, expeditionary, and staff and joint jobs. So the facilities management, so a base is essentially a small city. All right, you've got water issues in the city, you got water issues on base. Wastewater in the city, wastewater on base. Bridges. Okay, so that's where that civil engineering, making life, communal life like that possible. So got the base operations, planning, maintenance part of the job, construction, contracting, and real estate. Obviously there's a lot of land that the Navy owns that needs to be managed. Utilities and environmental. So we follow environmental laws just like the rest of the world, or sorry, the rest of the U.S. has to be environmentally compliant with rules and regulations. Our expeditionary time of the job, that's what I was talking about with the Naval Mobile Construction Battalions. Who here has heard of the Seabees? All the great things that we do. So Seabees, kind of a play on words, construction battalion. Seabees started in a little after or during World War II, and we carry on those traditions to this day. Expeditionary construction. So contingency engineering, humanitarian assistance, disaster relief. So Florida hurricanes. Florida hurricane, Houston hurricane. We've got hurricane taking out San Juan, Virgin Islands. Seabees responded to that, getting there, helping with that recovery effort. So that's why I say global force for good. Do humanitarian assistance downrange, drilling water wells, building clinics, building schools, great work. And then this other part of our job is these staff jobs and joint billet jobs. So like right now I'm in a staff job, not a traditional either NAVFAC or CB role. Chris, you got anything you want to add to this? Any questions? Yes.
So, are we be like, if we were interested in knowing or however that works, are we assigned to these places, or how much say do we have in what we want to do?
Yes, you're assigned to these places when you receive your orders. And as a family member in the military, as a family member of mine who's in the military, there's a reason why they're called orders, because you get ordered to go there. They're not invitations. So you get told to go to these different jobs. So and it's about every 2 to 3 years, depending on the job. You'll switch jobs, and oftentimes you're going to move along with that change in the job. Yes? The question is, have I ever visited the Groton Submarine Base? I have not. Yeah. Is there a particular question? Or is it? You're checking? Just wondering? Yes. Yeah, I never made it out to Groton. Okay, just a little bit more about that facilities management. That's sort of the shore duty, normal 9 to 5 type work. So our customers, we are responsible for that base there. Making sure that the public works is being maintained. If a pipe bursts, if electricity is lost, it's a facilities issue, it falls on us to take care of that. The construction, contracting, we handle a lot of different contracts for the facilities, for new construction, for rejuvenating the existing infrastructure. Have you done like a work job? Yeah, so you can handle anywhere from a $50,000 contract to replace carpet and paint a building to multi-million-dollar construction projects. So it could be building a new building, it could be building many buildings, it could be upgrading the infrastructure. Lots of variety of projects that you can be handed. And here's some examples, some pictures here of some different projects. So you've got a lot of our projects, Navy, it's going to be near the ocean. This is a rendering of a fuel farm project out in North Island, which is at the top of Coronado Island. It's Naval Air Station, North Island, near San Diego. Point Loma. Big fuel farm being constructed. This is a new headquarters building, again, architects rendering, and then actual active construction projects going on. Expeditionary side is that CB side of the job. We are the Navy's deployable construction force. Worldwide deployments. There's, in fact, I was talking with a friend yesterday who's at Utah State. He was saying he just came from a CB battalion. 47 different deployment sites around the world. Pretty awesome. Like, there's a chance to go pretty much anywhere with the CBs. So worldwide deployments in support of contingency, construction, disaster relief, and humanitarian assistance. Somewhere in your first 2 to 3 assignments in the Civil Engineer Corps, you're going to get assigned to a CB battalion and get that opportunity to deploy around the world and do great things. Also, you can volunteer for what they call an individual augmentee, which is just you yourself volunteering, saying, hey, I want to go forward, deploy, help out. A lot of opportunities in Djibouti, Africa. And then there's also, you can do a professional exchange program with the other branches of the military to go see how they do engineering and see what sort of things that they bring to the fight. Do some cross-pollination and learn a little bit from them. You can teach them a little bit. Our capabilities as CBs to construct new camps, camp maintenance, improve beaches for logistics purposes, bridges, roads, airfield construction, and also repair. So if a bridge gets damaged, runways get damaged, we can go in there, we can repair them in addition to building things new. Water well drilling, that's great capability that we bring to the fight. Also helps out with that humanitarian assistance. Convoy operations, that's something that's unique to the CBs. That's our own capability. We're able to get from point A to point B. We don't have to rely on somebody else to get us from point A to point B. Helps a lot when you're downrange, when you're not having to wait for somebody else to get you where you need to go. So, vertical construction, building buildings, asphalt paving, horizontal stuff, and then also unique capability is underwater construction, repairs, and even evaluations. Any questions with these slides? Yes?
So what is the Navy's policy on sustainability, or I guess environmental impacts of construction?
We're definitely concerned with that. Last I heard, all of our buildings are to be built to the standard of LEED Silver. Is that correct? LEED Silver, but, so we build it to that standard, but also there's a price tag that comes along with getting that plaque. And so we build to that standard, but we don't necessarily pursue that plaque to save money for the taxpayers. So.
You also mentioned internal environmental management, you know, we do like the impact statements and EAs and stuff like that. All our big projects fall within those realms if it's, you know, in certain square footage. So the Navy takes great care of, take care of the environment, especially on our
Yeah, very, very interested in energy conservation as well. Doing a lot of solar work and also fuel efficiency. So, yeah, certain questions.
I was a little confused by the individual honored part.
Okay.
Are those people that are part of the Navy that volunteer, or? Yeah.
Yes, so there'll be a call for volunteers that'll go out of, hey, we have a special assignment in Djibouti or another part of the world. We need somebody to volunteer for 6 months to a year to come help us out to do X, Y, Z. And yeah, so it's Civil Engineer Corps officers that would volunteer for that. Yeah, cool. Any other questions? No? All right, I think we're doing all right. So what, 10 minutes? 10 minutes, okay. So here's some pictures of expeditionary examples. So we've got the example of water wheel taking place. This top center picture, that's demolition taking place after the Haiti earthquake, helping that recovery effort. Seabees have helped with recovery efforts also after Hurricane Katrina and Superstorm Sandy, helping people get their lives back in order. This is building a expeditionary hangar type facility. Got the underwater construction and then a big concrete placement. Here's a discussion about those staff joint jobs. Look at this guy right here. He is so happy to be a part of the accessions team. So, in addition to these general, the traditional NAVFAC and CB roles, there's these one-off jobs that are unique to the Civil Engineer Corps. So you can go work at the White House in their construction office. You can work at Camp David. You can work at the Vice President's residence, Naval Observatory. You can work with the State Department. So all these little one-off neat assignments. You can be an accessions officer. You can work for Naval Special Warfare and support SEALs. It's not just all about NAVFAC and Seabees. You can also do some other pretty neat assignments. Ultimately, we're there to support the warfighter. That's why we exist. So now we're going to break from this traditional or the normal presentation, talk about the F-35 project just as an example. So F-35, I imagine that you guys get a lot of publicity about the F-35 being so close to Hill Air Force Base. I think they were the first ones to receive the Air Force variant. So F-35 planes, right? There's a lot of facilities work that goes along with that project. You've got you've got maintenance requirements that are new with the F-35 program, so there are new facilities that need to be built for that. You've got training requirements that are new that need to be built in support of that. Those are happening across the Marine Corps and the Navy. So it's not just about this airplane, it's also about the facilities that need to be built to support this new platform that we get involved with as Civil Engineer Corps officers. So these are just some pictures that show that support of the F-35 project. back to NAVFAC CDC stuff. So, Civil Engineer Corps, we're around the world, anywhere there's a Navy Marine Corps base, you can get assigned. This just shows that the majority of the assignments are in the Southwest region, but we are worldwide, Guam, Japan, the Middle East, Europe, Africa. This just talks about our career progression. So in private practice, you're doing your evaluations. You don't really know when you get promoted how that's going to work out. Maybe we don't have that problem. We have a set path of when you will be looked at for promotion and at what time those promotions are going to take place. So benefits of being in the military, 30 days of paid vacation every year. That's starting at day one. Medical, dental, great benefits for the family. The GI Bill, you can get out, you can go to school, you use the GI Bill yourself, or you can transfer that to your family. We've got a new retirement system. It's not just about, you still have to do the 20 years to get a retirement, but if you decide to leave the military earlier, you can take some of those money that you've put away with you. And that's that last bullet there. 20 years of service, retirement, you get a pension for the rest of your life. A great benefit of the Civil Engineer Corps is they will send you, if you want to stay in, you are going to go to grad school at some point there. By the time you make it 04, if you have not gone to grad school, you will be going to grad school after that. This just shows there's the traditional engineering program, but there's also MBA, regional and urban planning, additional architecture degrees. These are some of the, just a few, this is not all the schools that we have pre-approved programs at. There's a couple here that haven't been updated yet. One of them is an MBA program at Utah State, but pretty good schools. And then life after the Navy. So you're in the Civil Engineer Corps, you're learning, you're getting skills, highly desirable skills after you graduate, or after you leave the Corps. Many people will become facilities managers at universities, go to work for city, regional, state government, in public works, transportation. Great skill set that you leave the Navy with. Chris, anything to add?
No, I've seen a lot of officers get out, especially like at the kind of where we're at, the 03 level, and these are all great jobs. Big money is in construction companies, so a lot of these guys are going into operation officers, construction companies, starting in the 150 range, because of their understanding of federal contracts. So they start, working with the government, doing big scale projects for large construction companies. It's really where the money's at. But I'd say the Civil Engineer Corps is really well set up for life after the Navy in the engineering profession.
Yes.
For those graduate degrees, are you restricted or strongly encouraged to pick one more related to civil engineering, or can you just pick any of them?
It depends. I mean, you can't. It needs to be engineering related as far as, like, they're not going to send you to get a master's degree in like mathematics or something like that. So it needs to be engineering related, MBA, planning, something that's going to add to your skill set further in your career. So, great. Any other questions? I think we're nearing the end, and I know that I'm
I'll throw one caveat on the grad school, so Drew hasn't gone yet. But yeah, so I was about 5 years in to the Navy, and I put in a package to go, and we got selected and went to Texas A&M for a full year to my master's in civil engineering. And it was like a bunch of paid time off. I mean, you go to class, that's it, man. You go to class and you get paid a lot of money, and you keep all your benefits, and you're hanging out with your family all the time. So.
I I've heard it's a pretty good gig, yeah.
You keep your pay grade after this? Yep, yeah, you're still active duty, you're just not doing anything besides. I grew my beard out and everything,
Yeah. Your job is to go to school for that year. Enough said. So, with that being paid to go to school, we offer this wonderful collegiate program up to 24 months where we will pay you to go to school, and your job is to go to school, get good grades, complete that degree, and then about a month after, give or take, you'll be reporting to Officer Candidate School to start your training and start your Navy career. And this speaks to the type of people that we're looking for that collegiate program. Don't want to be on those the minimum side of that page. You want to be over there on the competitive side of the page. And if you're interested, please, there's information here, and talk with one of us afterwards. I say Chief Echeverry is the local point of contact that will help you with that program. I've already talked about that. I want to talk about civilian careers as well just for a second. If you're not interested in putting the uniform on and joining Uncle Sam's Canoe Club, you can also help us with being a civilian in the Navy in NAVFAC. So again, anywhere there's Navy bases, Marine Corps bases, there's also NAVFAC jobs there. If you're interested, you can talk to me afterwards as well. Also, you can become a reserve officer, a weekend warrior. 1 weekend a month, 2 weeks a year, that's what they always advertise. So you do your normal civil engineering career, have your day job, but then on the weekend, throw on the uniform, be a Civil Engineer Corps officer in the reserves. With that, questions? Last call? Yes?
So you said one of your first deployments will be with the Seabees probably, right?
Yeah, within your first 2 to 3 assignments in the Civil Engineer Corps, they expect to be assigned to a CB unit. Yes.
So are you doing the same kind of stuff that the enlisted people are doing at Seabees? Are you like eating dirt and putting up drywall, or?
What? Eating dirt? That's a new one. I've never seen anybody eat dirt. But that's, yeah. So no, we're not feeding people any dirt. Yes, you'll be with your troops, but different mission, different skill set. Like you as a Civil Engineer Corps officer are not going to be tying reinforcing steel or finishing concrete or hammering nails, although I have done that. So you'll be with them, but you're more of a project manager with them, making sure that they got the materials, projects moving forward, being safe, keeping with the schedule. Videos, thank you very much.